In this special limited series, I'm taking you behind the curtain of the 2025 Bendigo Business Excellence Awards. Join me as I spotlight the winners of each category and discover what makes them truly exceptional.
AgriNous.
Joel Rocks is the Managing Director of AgriNous. They are the winners of the Technology and Digital Award. Joel, thanks for joining me in the studio. I really appreciate you being here and sharing a bit of your story and a little bit about your recent win.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Caleb. It's been good to get here and meet you in person.
Yeah. It's been a while. I feel like we've kind of crossed paths in a few different scenarios, and at the winners event actually, I was like, Joel, and I can see you, so it's really wonderful to connect. Let's start with AgriNous, mate. Tell us what does the business look like? What does it do?
Yeah, so we're a technology company, hence the categorization of our award. We started in Bendigo in about 9 years ago, a bit over 9 years ago, out of genuine need. That need was to service the intermediary livestock transaction space. So. I used to work with another past winner, McGregor.
Yeah.
My time there identified a bit of a gap in the solution delivery for what is a modern livestock agent.
Yep.
So there still is no tech outside of AgriNous to solve those problems.
So unpack those problems for me a little bit so we can get clear on what AgriNous solves.
Yeah, sure. So there's probably a number of them.
Yep.
Compliance is a big issue, and also an increasing requirement, regulatory compliance. We saw in 2017 sheep ERD come in Victoria, and that was Victoria leading the way in sheep compliance. So that's managing not, I use the analogy of cars. It's not just like there's a heap of cars in the car park. There's a heap of cars in the car park, but they all have a VIN. Right. So every sheep is now identified individually.
Yeah.
Now that rollout is now extended to every other state in the country in 2025. So that increase in compliance is a big deal.
Yeah.
But there's also the speed to market for financial transactions and just a better insight to run a business.
Yep.
Multi-million-dollar turnovers, and have your finger on the pulse with your aged debtors and creditors and just your individual performance of your individual agents.
Yeah.
So what I saw at that sort of same time was the investment in real estate tech. And they're both a very similar model. Hence, traditionally you used to see a stock and station agency.
Yep.
Now others have this is their real estate brand and this is their livestock brand.
Yep.
We're seeing more and more of that. There was a heap of investment in real estate, and so you were able to manage your, profit by sale or manage your performance by person, and none of that existed in livestock.
Wow.
Which is what we bring to the market.
Well, it's a pretty huge opportunity, right? Like it's, as you say, like many, many millions of dollars are transacted in the stock market, but they're. What I'm hearing is traditionally there was just no way to have a good data set for your stock business and run the business by the numbers to a really tight kind of figure.
Yeah, you could get your basic P&L and balance sheet,
but
you couldn't get a cash flow statement or anything meaningful for your accountants. So accountants were spending a lot more time and costing a lot more money to these mum and dad type businesses. Than what they needed to because they just didn't have the tools to do it.
Yeah. So AgriNous, where has it come from since you identified that need? How did you go about setting the business up and creating this tech business?
Yeah. So a bit of a long story in the respect that before I started working in the agency space, I'd 10 years at the bank, had a lot of clients in business banking. Some of those had technology skills.
Yep.
I sort of grew up around tech and always been a keen adopter of tech. My first job out of school was I started my own tech business, like building websites and stuff.
Love it.
Haven't done that for a long time and don't intend on going back. But
nobody asked Joel to build a website.
No, I wouldn't even probably be able to stand up a WordPress page these days. But So yeah, we came out of that. The idea was born. Sort of started documenting it and working on paperwork around that, and then sort of moved on to talk to one of the clients who had a BPO center out of Sri Lanka. So we actually took the tech and built a proof of concept with a team in Sri Lanka over a couple of years.
Yep.
Probably a benefit to get a good POC out of it.
Yeah.
But probably you pay for what you get.
Yeah.
The quality wasn't there. We did a fairly large sort of program with elders in 2018, and so like an early exploration.
Yep.
And it didn't sort of stand up to the volume.
Right.
We were commercial at that stage. We had a few paying customers.
Yep.
But no, it wasn't fit for market.
Yep.
So 2018-19, we re-platformed with a company in Melbourne.
Yep.
And that sort of started our journey of understanding the tech side of the business a lot more rather than just the requirements. So we're working on, what does the customer need, and what does the industry need to evolve. And we've moved sort of all that into the tech company in Melbourne, and then started over time. 2019, I think we started to employ our own development team and build that to the team of about 9 that we've got based out of Bendigo. So
wow, that's pretty cool. There's a few tech businesses based in Bendigo, only a handful, but it blows my mind getting a deeper understanding. And I've had a bit of an understanding of AgriNous over the journey, but not like an inside look. So this is really, really fun to just see what you've made possible, right? And what you're running here. Tell me about the scale of operations. Like, where would you see AgriNous in use throughout Australia?
Yeah, we're right across Australia, from Tassie to the tip and all the way over to the west.
Right.
So if you look at AgriNous as a product, that's the AgriNous to those not as deeply embedded in the sales cycle as what we are back in the office.
Yeah.
AgriNous is the company with sort of 3 key product lines. AgentNous is for the livestock agency level. We also have the buyers that are logging in. That area unofficially is MyNous, but most people just call it the buyer portal. There's about 5,000 of those users, around about 1,000 a day tapping on glass on our system, unique people across the country.
Wow.
Around about 5,500 that are registered.
Wow.
And of that, about 2,000 are logging in, unique people are logging in each week.
Wow.
So in those sort of stats, that's covering the MyNous and the AgentNous, but in addition, we service the saleyard market. So we've got the Bendigo Livestock Exchange out there who are one of our customers.
Yep.
And there's roughly about 120 saleyards across the country.
Yeah.
AgriNous as a business looks at that saleyard opportunity as almost like a loss leader or a market entry position where we try win a saleyard to then get access to the agents.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at 120 down to about 800 odd livestock agents, and that's roughly 50-50, elders and nutrient being one half, and the independents and the smaller corporate groups. Just recently caught up with the team at Ray White to celebrate the signing of their contract.
Right.
So that's, if you look at agents across the country, we're looking after around about 60 odd agents to settle their whole business.
Wow.
And just last month alone, that was $511 million worth of process that went through the system.
Wow.
So we're moving into some decent scale across all species, facilitating also clearing sales. So, I suppose larger scale garage sales they are. I suppose that agents get in and help producers. Typically it's on the sale of a property. So hence that sort of relationship between livestock agents and sort of more the commercial farming property sales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There's been a lot of change in the farming and agriculture space in Australia over the recent years, but over, say, the last 60 years. We've seen a real consolidation of farms into much larger, fewer operators, but much larger areas just from the needs of and the changes in business. How do you see the ag industry shifting from a technological lens, and how have you contributed to that?
Yeah, so most of our tech sort of doesn't make its way to the end user. So it sort of stops at a B2B type area.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there is about 100,000 producers out there, or PIC holders. PIC is a property identification code, so unique parcel of land.
Yep.
We'll be moving into that in 2026 to get more tech into that space.
Right.
But I suppose the view on that market entry is about enabling the modern agent of the future. So extending that digital literacy, we'll build the tools and teach the agents how to move that onto their producer, more to keep them in the same on the same page digitally. And be that sort of springboard for the future connections of different platforms. So a good way to draw sort of parallels to that. And I always try to look for parallels because so many people are unfamiliar with the technical aspects of ag. But we've seen the rise and rise of Zero. Unfortunately, the fall with the AWS one that we're talking about today, they sort of slowed down a little bit, which did inconvenience a couple of our customers. But we'll get around that. But Zero, the way Zero went to market was to empower the accountants of the industry. Okay, and then the accountants are advocating to their clients, go to Zero. Zero's easy. Zero makes your life easy. And it also makes the accountant's life easy because if the accountant needs to run the BAS, they can just jump in over the shoulder digitally and check in on the areas that they have access to. And that's sort of a similar approach how we will move into the producer space in the next few months to allow producers to contribute with their agent on managing what I just term inventory, so sheep or cattle on the property. Because the agent is settling the transaction on and off the property, it makes it very easy, almost subliminal, to manage inventory. And then you look at pricing metrics, what's my animal's worth, or what's a good mark, I've got more land, what's a good purchase, where should I be looking to buy? So using data and insights to help that agent have a bit more of I suppose, a deeper conversation and a substantiated conversation.
Wow. So that's a great vision of where you're taking this thing. That's really cool. And I love the comparison to Zero's market approach because that's really clever, right? You meet the people that are most motivated to use the platform to start with the they're making money from their services, right? And you're making it easier for that to happen. So they're the most motivated right now, but they're the access point to the rest.
That's it.
And the consumers.
And it's no different. It's just the next stage in the current, sell some software that changes the world of the saleyards. And then you make the agents happy. So now we've got happy agents. How do we make the producers happy?
Yeah, wow. And so revenue-wise, of these three products, are you getting revenue in through a percentage of the transaction fees? Is that how AgriNous operates?
It is, but not explicitly. And I'll say that it's a grade. We take a 3-year average because, there's cost of commodities fluctuate and seasons change and all that sort of stuff. So we use for our, or both products actually, in our saleyard products, we have we normalize a unit. So 1 cow is equal to 8 sheep. You do the maths and you're this many units of saleyard, and you can look at your product line. So what features and functions you want, gold, silver, bronze in our world, and then classify that against utilization. So, you're moving 400,000 units and you want the gold product, this is where you sit.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the units have a scalable rate depending on the size of the business.
Nice.
With any of our plans, we have a min-max cap, so the clients know where they start. We'll give them a fixed rate for 12 months, and that's reviewed on the 3-year rolling. We do try and simplify it a lot, but we also give them that cap, right? So if it turns out to be a really good year and you're doing a lot more, well, will be a partner in that, but we won't exceed X.
Love it.
And on the agency side of things, we've played around with a few models. Pricing's hard, very hard for a new business that's innovating in a space. First, you have to substantiate, your worth, but then also once you've shown value, and then you keep investing, like we've spent just short of about 18 million on the platform year to date.
Wow.
Well, not year to date, from day
lifetime.
one. And when you keep improving the product, it's probably just as hard to go, hey, we've doubled the efficiency of the software. We're not doubling your price, but we do want to give it an increase. And that's sort of a part of that review process, and it's still a learning game for us. But on the agency side, it's about the total value of livestock they sell on a 3-year average, and then we work out how much they're using our system.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's fascinating getting a window into. As I said before, I've only got a few on this show and a window into the nuts and bolts and the bits that sit behind building a tech business is really fascinating, and it kind of makes my head hurt a little bit when I think about how much it must be required and all of the balls that you have to keep in the air. Tell me, let's switch gears into, because these are only pretty short episodes. Let's switch gears into the awards process itself. What was your kind of perspective and thought process when, after being nominated, that kind of made you decide to go ahead with the application for the category?
Yeah, I suppose with our fairly small local footprint, we've only got we've got 100% market cap in our local area. And I'm dragging in Kyneton.
Right.
Those sorts of areas. So we didn't have as much to gain, I suppose, as business exposure level as some of the other businesses like yourself. I suppose you can get yourself out there for new opportunity. It was more of an internal quest for us. Totally surprised to be nominated. Whoever it was, thank you, or they were. And when the nomination come in, I was actually going, I've got so much on my plate. I think I'll pass this time around. But I actually extended it back to the team. I said, look, I don't have time for this time round, but if anybody wants to pick it up and run with it, and we've been working on a lot of culture and team building over the last couple of years. We take half day every month out of our day to do some development work. It's been really beneficial for the team, but I think about half a dozen, which is a quarter of our team, jumped on and actually did the whole thing. Hence, spearheaded by Marcus, our general manager, who's been with us since pretty much day one. He took it on board and run with it. And hence why he was up on stage delivering the speech. I'm like, if you're doing it, you're doing the whole thing. You own it.
Good on you.
You own it. So, very proud of how the team got behind it. And that is our key takeaway from the process. It was a team building and growth opportunity. And even just as of Sunday, the opportunity to compete in the Zero Global Awards popped up. And me and a couple other members of our team, about 4 other members, we actually submitted an application for those awards. So it'll be interesting to see. We have got no idea, first time players in those awards, but we'll see what happens.
Epic. Hey, that's pretty cool that you've got a team behind you that were motivated and keen to do it. What do you think they took out of the win, taking out the actual award?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more around the process that they got the most out of, rather than the win. Like I mean, they were very grateful and they thought it was a good bit of fun, and we celebrated for sure. But I think it was just more of that opportunity to work at a different level together on something totally different. So when you're in the tech team, typically the tech guys deal with the tech guys, and then you've got your support people working with the support people. But what we saw was a good blend across the team. So I suppose it was just like an extension arm to the current sort of workplace development activities that we're doing. And also probably, I suppose, on reflection, a springboard to where we're going for our end of year event. So we're taking a week off at the end of the year as a team to do Innovation Week.
Look out.
So I'm not going to say too much just in case the team dial in before we announce everything on the 28th of November, but they're aware of what's happening.
Wow.
They're not aware of all the details.
Wow.
But it's going to be a pretty exciting week in our little office for the first week of December.
I love that. That is mad. Yeah. I don't think there's any investment you can make in team so long as it's balanced with really effective work and hitting KPIs throughout the year. But good investment in team really pays off, right? Like if people feel like they can, one, they're important, they're valued, and that they've got opportunity to grow, that's like the recipe for success of any great team. How have you built, and like what does your team in total kind of look like, and how have you grown them, and with the lens of like AI over the top, like what does your team look like?
Well, we say that we're Bendigo first team, but we obviously support a hybrid working environment. So we do have all the tools to support people. In our last 2 hires, one was based in Sydney and the other one in Dalby in Queensland. So yeah, we've got practices in play to stay connected. We do encourage people to come to the office as much, and we fund that as well. So that includes flights and accommodation and all that sort of stuff. So we do try and get a high cadence to the office. With respect to building rapport and stuff, I do find it quite a challenge to work with a hybrid workforce and I suppose celebrate and socialise in the same way that I would if the office was in Bendigo. So it's definitely a challenge, but I think it makes the catch-up events probably a bit more special as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We are fortunate that we do have really only 3 people working in a state. So Victoria's not that big when you compare it to Queensland and stuff like that. So we would like one of our leadership team is based in Melbourne. He's often on the train, maybe at least sort of once a fortnight. And that's really good. And I think you have a different level of conversation, and it's probably also the conversations that you take as an opportunity when you're passing in the hallway or whatever that you don't structure when you are working remote. So there is a little bit of content sort of dropping through the sieve. But yeah, I suppose you're referencing AI and stuff like that.
Does that impact? How is that impacting your business?
Probably makes us a lot quicker on a first draft of a technical conversation or something like that. We do use it quite a bit. I'm not totally up to speed with what our development team are using it with. I do know that there is some like assisted review process. I don't know the full depth and breadth of that, but also there are some technical POCs that we're running at the moment, looking at large language models over the top of our data set. So tell me about the difference in pricing from cattle from, Tassie to Tamworth, or what are Angus cattle at 350 kilos doing, Angus steers at 350 doing up in the I suppose the heartland of Roma, let's say. So we can start to build out tools. I do see us opening that up as user interactions later. Internally though, we're Google native, so we spend a heap of time on the Google suite of things. We have played around with data-driven podcasts as well. Through the Notebook LM, which is pretty cool.
How cool is that? It's like it's next level, and to digest information, it's just amazing. And I reckon that research firms, like really large research firms, are going to be really struggling really soon because in your business, you own that data, right? Like, or you've got the data of like what's happening where across the whole country in one of our biggest sectors, right? And so the value of that data, if you can pull out some meaningful information, is huge. But traditionally, you would have had to engage a research firm to actually collate and actually pull out those insights. But now, that can be done to some degree of accuracy.
annually the MLA, Meat Livestock Australia, publish a report, State of the Market.
Yes.
Report, and I don't know how much they spend on that, but it's a pretty big document. I would say it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and what they would spend to actually produce this State of the Market. And they do it every year. The consulting firm in question, I think, just got pinned for a few $100,000 on using unvetted. Not in that document, but there is some local news. Oh no, national news. Around that sort of cost recovery. So I mean, it's a tool to be used, but also a tool to be extremely critical of. Even just for the people dialing in that haven't played around in that space too much. Even just you get some great information and you read through it and you go, wow, how'd you know that? Ask it, are you sure?
Yeah,
and then just see what it says because actually,
it is a dangerous thing where we've got this new term coming out about black box trust, and it's it's exactly that. Someone using AI and going, oh yeah, sure, I'll trust you. When there's a little line at the bottom of ChatGPT, for example, that says, this chat will make mistakes.
Yeah, exactly right. It is good fun. So when I'm trying to write up sort of a new concept, I've sort of taken a different approach to my delivery or engagement with the team, moving to a bit more asynchronous. So I'll try and, if I've got an idea, I'll try and not just go, hey, I've got an idea, let's sit down and talk about it. I'll write down my idea and how I think it can embed into the business and what the revenue opportunity could be, or the different benefits of the why. And I'll actually sit down for quite some time and weeks and have a conversation in a thread to get it up to the right spot.
Cool.
With using Gemini.
Cool.
But then I'll also take it into different platforms and actually go, Gemini told me this, Copilot. Well, what can you add, or what do you think about this, and play them off one another.
That's really
it's an interesting experience. But once when you get to the end, it's like you're reading through, you're editing the whole thing. Like it's a good sounding board, or also like Kickstarter,
an accelerator. Yeah, big time. Landing this conversation back on the awards, what do you think it was about the AgriNous submission that the judges really loved, and the reason that they might have picked you for the award?
I think it's probably just that story, like past winner as well. So from 2018, I think it was, Emerged and Energized. So I think just seeing that journey, and we really, with I suppose no disrespect to anyone else that's entered, we are creating technology and building new solutions. So innovating as well, as far as I suppose the category that could have been in there, and obviously not privy to other applications and whatnot, but a bit of a different spin, more to the bigger tech side of play for what the category could entail. So I think we probably we do have a really good story. We do have a really good footprint. We also were finalists in the National Global Footprint category, which was taken out by the overall winners. Which congratulations to them. That was the one that I really wanted. I just think our growth, if you look at it like a technology story versus a growth story, I think the growth story has a good story to now, but the opportunity is huge as well.
Massive.
So anyway, when we were going through the interview process, we saved up some of that, and I reckon not that, we were fortunate to have the same judges for both categories. So I'm not too sure if some of the storyline for growth actually improved our results in the tech side of things. I think when we're talking about tech, we were probably literally too techy. And then when you start talking about how that relates to the end user, the client, or the industry, and that we engage for hundreds of thousands of dollars contracts for the federal government, right? So those sorts of things are tech, but we probably covered them in more growth.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it was shared knowledge that contributed to at least one win, right?
Potentially. Oh yeah. We're very grateful for that, and I think the whole process was, at the end of the day, Marcus and I went through the interview process together, and I think we did the team well in respect to how we went through that process, and. Yeah, it was a great opportunity to sit down and actually just discuss your business with other people like we're doing today.
Yeah.
It makes you do sort of sit back and reflect on the journey that's been.
Tell me, what advice do you have to another business that is considering following through on a nomination with the application process?
Yeah, regardless of your industry, it is you hear it from, well, you would have heard it from every applicant up there. It's like a fantastic opportunity to reflect on your business. Also, engaging your team, working. Even if you're a one-person operation, I think it gives you a good time to sit back and look at that business plan and what have you achieved through the time. So even if it's just a little bit of self-satisfaction in getting that application form through. And a pat on the back. Like, I just think it's a fantastic opportunity. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. It sure is. Joel, thanks for giving us a slice of the AgriNous story and sharing your experience with the awards. Really appreciate it.
It's been great. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode as part of the limited series Team Up with Bendigo and Hebron Films, featuring the winners of the 2025 Business Excellence Awards. There are 13 episodes in total in this mini-series, so if you're at all curious about the other award recipients, then head over and check them out. We also have a new episode of Remarkable Regional Business dropping every fortnight, so please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And finally, if you know someone who has or runs a great regionally based business and has a remarkable story to tell, then I would love to get them into the studio and tell it. You can dob them in at hebronfilms.com/podcast.